Hey, what's up? I decided to do this spur of the moment thing. I have a lot of scrapped ideas that never really made it past the storyboard phase. And while I'm hard at work on my newest cartoon, I thought it might be fun to just go back and look at all of the animations that never quite made it. Some of these I have pitched, some of these never got outside of my room, but I was just going back through these the other day and I think they still have some merit to them. I think there's some fun stuff about them. All right, first cartoon. Here comes the science. Here comes the science. And we open on a hamster being held by tongs and he's dipped into lava and the tongs come up empty and Percy says, still too much heat. Ash, look at the melting point of hamsters. And we zoom over to our this robot assistant. She says, no, do it yourself. But you're supposed to be my robot minion. Hey, I'm a full-fledged member of this team and I will thank you to remember it. What are you even doing over there? Oh, I'm playing Fatty Collector. You leave out hamburgers and people come and eat them. Side note, Neko Atsumi was popular at the time, so I was kind of riffing on that. It's the single dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I've read Steve's erotic Bible fan fiction. Speak of the devil. Ah, it escaped! Steve runs by. Steve, what escaped? What did you do? Steve is just screaming. Ash looks over. Big monster comes out. Ah! Ash runs away. What have you done? Steve let the experiment loose. Well, but Percy told me to clean the cage. Well, Ash said it was filthy and I wasn't going in there. So in a way, it's all of our faults. What are you working on? Give me that. What? No, I'm sciencing. I'm doing a science. I'm making a science happen. And Ash says, she's excited about the security defenses. It's like, he can't get past these defenses and the defenses come out and Drone comes out and says, halt. And all this high-tech stuff comes out and the monster crashes through. Useless drones. Drone, take us to the armory. And Steve says, what about the fuel generator? And Ash says, good thing, if we can recapture it, maybe. So this part of the story I didn't really flesh out enough. Steve and Ash, who are the two on the right, want to recapture the monster, and Percy just wants to blow it up because he's kind of the Saturday morning villain cartoon character, and he doesn't give a shit. He just wants to blow things up all the time. So he goes, don't care, later losers, and he leaps off into the armory, right? And they're kind of split now. So Percy runs in the armory. They miss the field generator altogether, and Steve and Ash accidentally end up in the Rubik's Cube. And her arm pops off, and Steve's invention pops next to him. And Ash gets up, and she says, where's Percy? And what is a Rubik's Cube? And Steve says, Percy was really into those escape rooms a while ago. Plus, I think he came up with the name first and built the concept around it. Ash says, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I've read your erotic Bible fan fiction. Steve says, stand by it. The monster's closing in. She notices and goes, and she tries to solve this. And we have a point of view of her solving it. But it's not fast enough and it's closing in. And Steve steps in front of the monster. And he says something cocky. I don't remember exactly what it is. Something like, it's unfinished, but I gotta try. Hoop dreams, kisses it and throws it. Boink, bounces off, does nothing. And it keeps going. Ash says, and good try, Steve. I can handle it from here. She hits the button, locking him out. And she says something heroic. She runs after it. Steve quickly tries to solve the puzzle. In this case, he just kind of swaps it the way you would swap a Rubik's Cube if you get frustrated. And door opens. Ash, I fixed it. And Ash says, Steve, run, you clever boy. She's ripped apart by the monster. Ash, no! Meanwhile, the lightning fades away into Percy welding this improvised laser gun. And Ash's power, she's uploaded to the server. She can just take over any drone body. She's like, hey, Percy! Ah! Shoots her. Oh, God, that hurt. And Percy says, Ash, I thought you were with Steve. At this point, he comes up with some plan where he knows that he can reuse Ash's regeneration powers for something. This was a convoluted part of the story that I didn't really flesh out. And that's kind of the main problem with this. The character motivations were not explained necessarily. I guess that's the problem. Anyway, so he formulates a plan. And he's like, come with me. And Ash is like, whoa. And Percy is like, perfect, it's another checkpoint. that on and off switches will activate our lab's defenses, but it only works with drones. And there's like this drone shaped hole in the wall. And he's talking about his plan. And Ash stops, and she says, essentially, like, Steve and I raised this monster. We can't just kill it. There has to be a peaceful way. And Percy gets really upset. It's like, listen, that's not a plan. What you have isn't a plan. I have a plan. Activating defense is a plan. Treating it with kindness isn't a plan. He gets upset and he punches this drone. He says, and Ash says, why can't I just be a part of the team? That's all I've ever wanted. And Percy's really frustrated. And, you're not a part of the team, all right? Steve and I are a team. You're just a drone butler. And he says, if you can't see what's in front of your face, bonk. And he bonks into it. He's like, but before they have time to get into their argument further, Steve runs in. And he's like, hey, guys. And they bolt up here. He fires a laser. I think I broke the 180 rule here. Whatever. Destroys some rubble and pins it. Hey, what's going on? Oh my God, Ash, you're alive! And he hugs her, and she hugs him back. And it's actually a sweet moment. They do care for each other. Unlike Percy, doesn't give a shit about anyone. Percy says, ugh, with the hugging. What is this? Steve's erotic Bible fan fiction? Rule of threes, baby. Boom! Rule of threes. I'm great. I'm a genius. And he goes, seriously, Steve, what is this? What is this thing? He's like, no, hold on. It's fragile, probably. I don't know. I don't actually know. And Percy shakes it, and all these parts fall off of it. And he goes, huh, it's a universal remote. This is as far as I got. So really, really quick. Now we're in the pre-storyboard phase. This is never meant to be seen by anyone, but I'll broadcast it to everyone. Why not? I never fleshed this all the way out, but Percy plugs in a thing into Ash, and she's able to take over the whole lab, essentially. Like, she's plugged into the lab all the way now, and all these drones come out, and they all light up with their face. And the monster comes forward. So just as Percy is about to activate the defenses, a tentacle arm comes out and he grabs him and he pulls him away. And Percy says, Steve, you grab the remote and activate the defenses and blow this thing away. And Steve picks up the universal remote, and Ash says, Steve, hold on. Listen to your heart. We bottle fed this monster from infancy, and we can't just destroy it. And Steve presses a button and all the defenses disappear. He holds up a baby bottle. He's like, I still do bottle feed it. And Ash is now empowered. She activates all of the drones, and they start to charge forward. And I have this big battle scene. We know this is pretty rough. This is pretty bad. This is worse than stick figures. But basically, there's this big fight, and it smashes a bunch of drones, and they try to swarm around it. Till finally, they're able to pin it down, and Percy shoots it with a laser, and it just goes, disappears. And we see a shot from outside the lab, and he goes, and starts destroying the city. And problem solved, There's a whole thing where Ash gets mad at him, but he explains that now the monster's free to do whatever he wants. Live outside of the lab. He's free and clear. It's not the problem anymore. And all the drones were destroyed except for one. Everything's status quo again. I don't know what these boards are. I guess temp stuff. The problem with this was I had a lot of concepts that I wanted to put into this. I had this idea of Ash and Steve wanting to save the monster, but Percy wanted to destroy it. And the conflict came, but there was also an element of Percy didn't respect Ash because she was a robot, and robots didn't have as many rights as humans did. It was just a bunch of stuff that I put in there that didn't really jive. But from the next story that I'm about to show you, which is scrapping that old idea, taking the best elements and repurposing it, I think it was more effective in some ways, but it took out the creativity of the first one. They stay in the same room the whole time, and I just don't think it's as interesting. So this one's called Monster Babies Day Out. It's the same monster design. It's the same characters. I just retooled it a little bit to try to make it more character-based, but I failed. I failed to do that, and I think you'll see why. Monster Babies Day Out. And not a hair can be out of place when the investor gets here. He's an important man, and he demands perfection. And frankly, we need the money after Steve's toaster strudel accident. The whole wing had to be quarantined. Yeah, worth it. Ding dong. That's him. And Percy runs off. He runs back. None of you touch or say or do anything. And runs off. They look at each other. And it's this angry Japanese investor. Hello, sir, and welcome to Mad Science. I hope you'll find us to be a shining beacon of... The monster escapes. Shit. Excuse me for just a moment. He runs off. We cut to, I'm just a teddy bear. Don't you want to play with me? Percy says, Ash, what are you doing? And she's like playing with this teddy bear. Experiment 271 got loose. I'm trying to calm it down. We don't have time. I'm blasting it. No, don't listen to him, my precious baby. Do you want your teddy? Slashes the head off it. Do you want your baba? Meanwhile, Steve's working on this contraption. Milk splashes. I'm almost done. This machine's going to solve all of our problems, you guys. What is it? I don't know, but I got a good feeling about it. And some parts fall off of it. You do you, Steve. I'm going to explode it with lasers. Wait, Dr. Drew says negative reinforcement only causes worse behavior later on. Our baby has a gentle heart. Pushes over this cloning vat. And Percy's still struggling. And they fire off a laser. Misses the investor. Orphanage for wayward puppies. Explodes it. Kills JFK. Reports that there might be a second shooter. With this new reactor, people can once again trust clean, safe nuclear energy. Oh, my penis! Just missing shots. It's finished! Whatever it is, it falls off. Oh, sweet. It's a boombox. And he presses a button. Now, I don't want to get... I'm going to preemptively not get a copyright strike because I used music that I don't think I have permission for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing it for you guys. That'll be fun. I'll sing it for you. I'll credit the song in the description. It's the TV show YouTube video. It's a really cool music video. It's one of my favorites. Here we go. Bump, 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 bump. Bump 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 bum 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 clap clap, whatever. It goes like something like that. So Steve does this whole song and dance number, and he's just dancing, and none of that fucking mattered. The monster's still on the loose. Raises his gun, slow motion, slowly pulls the trigger. No! She throws a rattle. Bounces off the rattle. Runs out. And the investor walks in. And he seems not happy. Anyway, this is the lab. And he doesn't look impressed. He says, that was the most shameful display of monster battling I've ever seen. And I'm Satoshi Tahiri, the creator of Pokemon. But I just love that fat man's funny dance. Thank you. Mad Science has much to offer with this pudgy clown. We'll be in touch. Crushed by the monster. Eaten and runs away. Well, I think we all learned a valuable lesson today. Ash, tell us what we learned. Maybe like inspirational music comes on. There comes a point when your monster baby is finally ready to leave the cloning lab. And when that time comes... you just have to let go. Look how happy he is. And you hear, like air raid sirens. He's like destroying the whole city. And simultaneously, that was a dumb moral. I'll use my mouse. That was a dumb moral. Whatever. You guys didn't even watch my dance. And, well, I guess we didn't learn anything. You guys want to splice together a new monster baby? Yeah! And he presses the boombox. Bump, 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 and credits roll. You know, looking back on it, it wasn't that bad. I think it was cool. It's up for you guys to decide. You can decide in the comments which one was more interesting. I like this one more because they go to different locations. We see more of the lab. I was, if you couldn't tell, inspired by Dexter's Lab. So like this kind of stuff where the lab stretches into infinity and we see all these huge high walls and stuff. And just weird gizmos that we can only guess at what they are. Like, I don't know what this fucking thing is. A lava dispenser, I guess. There's like whole wings that we haven't seen yet, like everything in here. I have a whole season planned out. There's a lot of really cool stories I can tell. Anyway, so this is my roommate and I, she's a compositor, I'm an animator. We were going to collaborate on a cartoon together. And it was about a dragon who falls in love with a princess, and he puts on a disguise, dresses up like a duke, and eventually marries her. So I'm still pretty proud of this design, and I went through the trouble of doing a mouth pack for it. Neutral, here's a happy one. I think I did blinks. Sorta. Yeah. And he has this is when he becomes the king. This is years later. And here's the scene where they fall in love. I modeled this after the live action Cinderella movie, believe it or not, that was coming out at the same time I was working on this. These boards are pretty rough, by the way. I would have cleaned these up if I ever expected someone to look at them that wasn't my roommate. But I think they're still cool. I think there's still fun ideas here. So it starts off, they're dancing in the ball and they fall in love with each other. So he puts his hand around her waist and she smiles. But so he's in disguise, but his big fucking tail knocks over the candle, and they keep dancing. She thinks he's a human, by the way, and they're twirling. She's spinning. He's laughing. He like knocks over a waiter's food. Meanwhile, the candle rolls over to this curtain and sets it on fire. They're dancing, just is knocking people over. Meanwhile, the fire's spreading. And they go in for a kiss, and there's people panicking in the background. And it lights up. We zoom out, and there's like beautiful waltz music playing as this is happening, and the whole thing goes up in fire. And that's their love scene. My roommate storyboarded out a different part. This is the very, very end. This is years later. Now she's on her deathbed. It's like, my king, come closer. Light of my life, how are you feeling today? My king, the years have touched you not. Yours, handsome as the night we danced a lifetime ago. Ah, yes, well, I have maintained a secret, weighing heavier on my heart with each day that passes, and know that what I reveal changes nothing of the life we lead and the love we shared. She just looks at him. But you see, I am a dragon. And this is like Ren and Stimpy close up. She's like, dragon! Dragon! Guards! Dragon! Dragon! It's a dragon! Guards! Get him! Get him! Get the dragon! Kill him! It's a dragon! Oh god! It's a dragon! It's a blood splatter. It's a dragon! It's a dragon. She sheds a single tear. The end. Obviously, we're missing a bunch of stuff. Just would have been a love story that ends up brutally violent. I think it's funny. Do I have anything else to show? I think that's it. I think that's everything. Cool. Great. Really good sign off. You can see why I'm more of a behind the scenes guy than a on mic guy. But anyway, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you got something out of this. I know I did. I know I had fun doing this. So have a good one. I love you.